Time keeps on leaving and we keep on moving. When do we pass on our wisdom to the youth? My veteran story, lost arts discussions, fireside chats with a bourbon or two. It's time to hear the stories by our military veterans. Get yourself ready. It's the Lost Arts Podcast. The Lost Arts with Andrew Cox.
Hello, and welcome back to the Lost Art Podcast. That podcast is giving a voice to our veterans. Today we have the Lake Bandini swim team with us. They're coming back for part two from our rock band on the last one, but we're going to get together and chat a little bit. But don't forget that you can become a patron and help us out if you like. That's a reoccurring monthly thing, donation, or you can do a one-time donation. And if you want to be a guest on the podcast, you can email me directly at thelostartwithandrewcox@gmail.com. And if you want some merchandise, some really cool stuff, you can get hats, you can get shirts, you can get cups, you can get all kinds of stuff. But go to our website, you can click on the merchandise tab and be able to get there. All right, with that, we were sharing different stories, so everybody can all come off mute now, and we can jump back into story time. So somebody take it.
Can I just throw two quick ones out at everybody? Just really quick. The standouts to me are probably one of them is going to be, it had to have been maybe 2002, maybe 2003, but probably 2002. It was as the kind of long war got started. I think it was the first gig when it hit me like, holy crap, I think we do more than just play rock band stuff. Dave Anderson marched us up to the 7th Marines parade deck, and we saw them all lined up getting ready to go. And he kind of, we were about to play at the Semper Fidelis and starting to strive something. He said, hey, just right before we started playing, he said, some of these Marines, man, they ain't coming home. So make it good. And that's like the first time it hit me. I got tingles like, oh, I think we're, I'm doing something where it's like finally, I say finally, but it actually kind of means something here. And then the other one was when Brad and I, we kind of split the band up, but we were doing all those troop arrivals. 2003, 4, 5, somewhere in there, And we played that gig for that one Marine who lost his eye. What was his name? Popovich? I forget his name.
Popovich.
Yeah. Middle of the night, played for that one Marine. He loved it. He wanted to hear the hymn again. And then we go on a trip somewhere, and we get back at 2, 3 in the morning, half asleep, and he's there, and he turns on his Jeep and blasts some Marines, and we all get off the bus, all half asleep in it, So he did the first a few times. But just those gigs, those type of things where, I think us playing and us doing what we do, it just kind of hit a little harder. It really meant more than just playing music and all the junk, when it actually touched people, those are my kind of my two favorite stories, I think, of my time.
Those are nice. Good stories. I like it. Next.
Those are all like meaningful stories. I remember when we went to Yuma and Mr. Anthony Brown forgot the mace, and he's given all the commands.
You're old news.
First of all, I did not forget the mace. It was not loaded.
Maybe Carlson was in charge of the mace at that time too.
Yeah, sure. But all the hand and arm signals, and he was like, That was a good trip.
Yuma, that's a good one. That was the only place that made us appreciate 29 Palms. But I do say I got snake bit. Y'all remember that? The big old habu and the big snake in the giant jar where you have to drink and get all the fumes out and everything. Lays a big old swack on me, the crusty old lady behind the bar, and the shirt's like triple XL. I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do with this thing? Been there, got the t-shirt. I also remember the gigs in Yuma. I knew where every head was off the edge of that parade deck because of all the drinking and stuff we would do out there. Like finishing a gig and I'm beeline straight for the shitter. Like, oh man, barely making it through the ceremony. Just hanging their butt cheeks. I got this.
We're about 15 minutes from getting on base, and Joe Streeter looks at his watch and he goes, "Oh shit, I forgot there's a time change. We better get ready." We jump off the bus and have to start playing a pre-serve. Just get in line. You're an hour late.
I left before Streeter got there, but I was with him in Okinawa. We were kind of like the I guess the spearhead of all those the little party band
Oh yeah,
that just popped up
him and his
everywhere. I
brass
see
band.
a party band. They're doing all the same tricks and gimmicks and songs that we did in Oki back in the mid '90s, early
Yep.
'90s. Man, you know
Goes
we
to
were
show
most of us were.
you had it made back then. You made it for everybody.
Well, I mean, the world was changing from when I came in. Already by the time I was in 29 Palms, it had already done a complete 180 for either the type of musicians and musicianship, but the gigs that were getting done and the traveling we were doing and stuff like that, it just everything just transformed. Now, I mean, it's a bunch of rock stars going on. It wasn't like that when I first came in. I mean, it was barely a decent high school band, you know. It was terrible.
I'm surprised how many come through the School of Music that with master's degrees and
Oh, yeah.
doctorates, and
That all
that's
started,
Marines too.
yeah, when they started those U5ers and all that kind of stuff. We started getting them out there in 29, I remember. The 3-0 musician walking in the door. I was too, but I was special. I had band boosters that paid for private lessons all the way through high school, and my instructor was a former Army bandsman. So I walked in the
Nice.
door ready to go.
All right, who's next? Who wants to tell some more stories?
Are these ones we were supposed to be recording? No, I'm not going to do that.
Well, I got like not my stories, but
Good, you're good. You
I
can,
remember
whatever you want.
we were in Indiana and we came back C-130. We had all these. We brought some stuff that we should not brought. Anyways, we're back at 29 Palms. We have all these fireworks now. Okay. And then I remember me and Franz used to live on town with Jason Booth. And I can't remember who else. Maybe Bill Hauber. Bill Hauber. You guys remember Bill Hauber? Anyways, no, Bill Hauber wasn't living with us yet. Anyways, me and Franz go out like, hey, let's go light up some of these fireworks, right? We go, it's dark, whatever. Fucking light them up, and it goes up in the sky, right? Blows up. And we're like, holy shit, it lit up all 29 Palms. So we threw a couple of them. And I remember I had a cell phone at that point. And I get a call from Bill Hauber. It's like, hey, what are you guys doing? Like, hey, man, we're doing fireworks. Like, I know, we're all standing outside the barracks in the base watching you guys light up fireworks. I was like, oh, and then all of a sudden we hear the sirens, like the cops. I'm like, oh, fuck. So we run back to the house. Me and Franz, man. That guy, man.
You guys have the same trouble I have now thinking back because multiple bands, decades of being in, things start to all kind of blur as one.
Yes.
Yeah.
But simple
Absolutely.
things like this, it doesn't take much, and boom, all of a sudden the timelines just start popping back with these stories. Like being in Montana and
Oh, Montana.
bar
It's a good
fight in
trip.
the parking lot and stuff like that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lewistown and Great Falls.
Lewistown, yeah.
Did you go on the hike with us, Mighty King? There was a bunch of us.
I remember we went, was it the hike? We went shooting gophers.
Oh, that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, there was that.
Miles of
Fucking being
land.
riding a
Surprised we didn't
horse.
shoot each other.
Yeah, the people up at the house could see everybody. They couldn't see the terrain. So we're shooting at gophers with a hill behind it, but they're up there looking at us like interlocking fields of fire, like,
Yeah.
hey, stop.
I don't think I went on a hike. I think I went fishing. It was like you go fishing, hiking, or
That's what I did.
golfing, or
I
some
was
shit.
so
I went fishing.
hungover. Oh, I was so hungover for that hike. Man. But we hiked all the way to Snow. It was like 10 miles. It was a major hike. But I know there's a big group of us up on that rock at the top. They took a picture because you had like Beeman, me and Gleason, and
Dude, I have so
Rebecca
many
Mallett.
pictures. So many pictures from 29 Palms. I haven't. They're on like extra film. Like I need to post them or scan them and send them
Yeah.
out to you guys. Dude, I
Yeah.
have like pictures of you and your kids. 'Cause remember you used to come over with your little girls
Yeah.
and be at the pool. So I have
The
pictures
swimming
of
pool, yeah.
that.
Mhm.
The swimming pool, all these trips from like everybody.
My kids are not so little anymore. My youngest
Yeah.
is 20. The
Damn.
two that we had in 29 Palms, one of them we had as soon as we landed there. Like she was about to pop when we got there. And then the second one we had while we were there. And I had two more.
Yeah.
And so like my oldest, the one that we had, oh no, I had her. It was second and third because they were the two that were closest to get golly.
I don't know. I just
your
remember
first,
you like
your first one was in New Orleans, right?
Yes, and then that was right before we went to New Orleans. Like we had her while I was in Okinawa, and then went to New Orleans. She was still just a little infant when we got to New Orleans. Yeah,
Yeah.
but she's like 29 now and has a kid and another one on the way. I'm a grandpa. But 3 of them still live in my house. Like, get out.
Adrian, I'm right there with you.
dependents.
My son, who was newborn when I got to 29 Palms, is 23 now.
Yeah.
6'7", 250 pounds.
Yeah.
And
I know.
he lives at home.
Well, remember, I met him while we were there for, I think it was Smitty's retirement in New Orleans.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
me and the wife drove over there to New Orleans for that.
That's right. I
The
forgot
rest
about
of y'all,
that.
good luck. But New Orleans, we're like, well, Smith is retiring. That means a lot of people are showing up that we know because I knew him all the way back since '94.
Yeah.
No, but the youngest, no, second to the youngest. He joined the Marine Corps, but he's a reservist. So, of course, I give him shit all the time for being a weekend warrior. Yeah, and he's a fuck up right now. He just got a negative counseling for not having his CFT done in time, but he did it. They just didn't record it, so he's fighting that. So he's in a battle. Anyway,
What about you, Dwayne? What do you remember?
Not much. I drink too much.
not good. Not as much as Mr. Sherlock. Wait, that was a different band. Don't even.
Ooh. No, Adrian?
Different band. Sorry, I was with him in a few duty
Wayne.
stations.
No, it wasn't.
Wayne, I still want that. I still want your Wrangler, man.
Ah, I remember. I saw your post about that one. Finally had to give up on it.
Yeah, so the first one blew up. The engine blew up here in Virginia. And then, so I got another one, a brand new one. I figured, okay, I'm in my mid 40s. I can afford one with air conditioning. And so I got one with all the bells and whistles. And I ended up T-boning somebody who pulled out illegally from behind a blind curve here on GW Parkway. Totaled the Jeep. They actually landed in the Potomac River.
Dang.
Yeah. Fortunately, we all walked away from it. And so now I'm on my third Jeep. My son is still pissed at me because he wanted that Jeep, the original Wrangler. So he's still pissed at me for that.
You bought that in New Orleans. The first
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And then when they stole your uniforms up your truck or your
That was the uniforms being stolen was when I was PCSing from New Orleans to 29 Palms.
Yeah, because I remember like you showed up like only have camis or something like that.
No, I had one set of camis. So I was driving out to 29 Palms. I ended up staying with Adrian for 2 weeks. Thank you, Adrian.
Yeah.
While I figured out life and brought my wife and newborn out there 2 weeks later. But the first, when I picked up my orders in New Orleans, was in camis that day, had everything else packed in the Jeep, all my own personal stuff packed in the Jeep, get in the Jeep, tell the family goodbye, get on the road, drive 8 hours to San Antonio, was on base, decided to go out to a country bar there and might have had, I don't know, a couple glasses of water while I was there. Go out to the Jeep in the parking lot of this place. The entire back of my Jeep is ripped open and everything is gone. Trumpets, sea bag full of uniforms, civilian clothes, everything I owned. The only thing I had left with me were the camis that I had been wearing earlier that day and the boots, which I had balled up and thrown in the front floorboard in the passenger seat. So I eventually made my way out there, and that was all I had with me, was a set of camis.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Sounds like good times.
Yeah. That was the second time I've been robbed in San Antonio. You had a great town there, Adrian.
I remember that. I've never been broken into or any of that in San Antonio. And I lived here for 4 years before I joined the Marine Corps, and I've been back since 2011. So I don't know what you're doing, man. You're in the wrong part of town.
Clearly, it's me.
Every town has that.
Yeah.
Were you at
Trust
the
me, I
big
know.
country bar, Cowboys? Is that where you
Yeah,
were?
that was probably it. I think Terry Clark was playing that night, so I went to go see her. Yeah, and walk out at the end of the night, and everything is gone. Everything I own is gone.
I stay away from that place. If you went across the highway on that street that was the main road across from that big country bar, it's called Parambato, but we call that like Heroin Central, man. There's a bunch of
Nice.
crackheads and all kinds of crap on that road.
Now
Yeah.
you let them know.
You know, I
Nice.
actually rented a house and lived there for like 3 years off of that same street, Parambato, before I bought the house I'm in now. If y'all don't know it, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I wanted to learn the trades. I went to the education office on base. They're like, hey, there's this welding program over at St. Philip's College. Well, I came over here and I got my welding degree in 2 years. And one of my instructors, he was a former Marine stationed out in 29 Palm the same time we were there. We became fast friends and he wanted me to come back and teach welding. So once I had my years of experience as a welder, I was able to come back and start teaching. And they actually hired me full time during the pandemic. So I'm a welder now. That's what I do. Welder fabricator. I work on cars. The house I bought has a lift, and I just recently got my hands on a 65 F100. I'm gonna strip it all the way down to the frame and rebuild it up. Got me a 302. I'm gonna have me some fun. It's a new life. So it's not that I
That's not
don't
the-
like what?
That's not the unibody truck,
No.
is it?
No,
Okay.
it's not. It's the one that's the actual separate. Yeah, the unibody 65 is the one everybody's putting on Crown Vics and stuff, which is that's what I actually drive. My daily driver is a Crown Vic Police Interceptor. Used to be the chief of police out here in Kerrville. I love that car. It's fun. But anyway,
It's interesting. I got a welding degree as well, and
yeah.
I'm not welding right now, but I'm a machinist fabricator where I work, and so one-off jobs and everything. But I got two quick stories, and then I got to get. But so the first one, I guess, because I've been thinking this whole time, I couldn't remember not having a mace. So thank you for bringing that up. But well, when I first got there, and I don't know if it was like this for a long time or if it was just a TP thing, but they didn't have platoons set up as a Marine Corps platoon. It was by instrument, and they didn't have counselings, and they didn't have any of the stuff. And then
Internet.
I lost him.
We lost.
Internet got him.
Internet.
Ariano, come on, don't you
That was
do
Gary
Anthony.
that set that up, right?
And he's
Okay.
completely frozen.
Yeah, it froze.
All right,
I'm
well,
sure-
Jesse, tell us your side. What do you got?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not a storyteller, so I'll just drop some random things that have stuck with me over the years. Of course, syphilis is one of them.
Yeah,
Syphilis
it's the
never
gift that
goes
keeps on
away.
giving.
I think we were both back there.
Never goes
laughing.
away.
Lit back on the deck.
there we
Fat Puckhead.
Okay.
Oh, fat
Oh my God, I forgot about him.
Since Tony's still here, Tony, you were one of my favorite platoon sergeants, and I think your story is going to kind of tie into that. So thank you. I remember Mengan always putting like a mint or a cert in his mouth before a concert. I remember always having to do like a photo op with him. And there's a couple things that I need confirmation on if these things happened. Did we do a concert somewhere under Mengan where nobody showed up? Did I make that up in my head, or is that a different band?
No, that happened.
Okay, so there's that. And then did Beeman break a table in front of the band? Did he crush, like just collapse on a table while addressing the band, or is that something that I misremembered?
That could have happened.
Are you thinking of the time when he shattered a music stand? He was so upset with something
Maybe.
in the rehearsal hall.
Yeah, like do a stand or some shit.
It was
It's
Yeah.
probably
or
already
he
broken.
punched it or did something like that. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I was with him in more than one duty station. He plans those kind of things. He
Oh.
planted that stand there.
I thought he was sitting on a table and it like, broke. Maybe it was just a small group. And then now that Nay's back, Nay used to come into the platoon sergeant's office when I was the platoon sergeant and fart and then leave. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
Nice.
That
I
means
would
he
say I'm
likes you.
surprised, but I'm not at all. Not at all surprised.
Trying to show off his pheromones, like just
That just means he liked you. You're one of his friends. I do the same thing to my friends around here.
Anyway, so before I get cut off by my Wi-Fi again, anyway, so we got there, and then I begged Staff Sergeant Owens to make me platoon sergeant, and so he went and did his thing, and I was able to become platoon sergeant. And we had that. Remember, there was a cubicle out by the duty desk at first, and then I talked to, like, we got the staff sergeants kicked out of their place so that could be the platoon sergeant's office, and then they moved across the hall, started the counselings and everything. So that was one of the things I remember. And then the second thing that I get reminded by people on Facebook every once in a while is we went to Madeira, and it was near the beginning, and there was every morning we were there was always somebody late or unshaven or something. And it was one of the last days, and I think it was the last day, and I'd had enough. And we went and did the gig, and then we got on the bus and we went to the bigwig's house for a party or something. And Staff Sergeant McSherry was there and others, and I told them to get off the bus, and then I just lost my shit everywhere, and it was just freaking F words like every 5 seconds. And people still bring that up every once in a while. I mean, I was so freaking pissed off because everybody was someone was late every stinking day. So I remember that very much, but a lot.
Like Neville.
But it was a good time.
Neville.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, but I ended up we bought a house out in 29 Palms, and then we bought a house in Joshua Tree and lived there for 10 years. Bought some property out there too, and then sold it all when we came back home to St. Louis. But anyway, peace to everyone, Semper Fi, and catch you guys later. I'm gonna go eat.
All right.
Take care, man.
Okay. Dude.
Thanks, man.
Good to see you again, Anthony.
Hey,
Anthony.
and you too.
Yeah.
Dude, y'all want to hear a Neville story?
Yeah.
I remember that I was
do.
platoon sergeant. Thanks a lot, Mark. But Neville, how much work did we put into Neville? And I had Arismendi was always, giving him every minute of his free time. He was helping him with his checkbook. He was helping him get dressed. We were all helping him get dressed and iron his uniforms. He was a hot mess. And Gleason was in my ass every day for Neville. So finally I was like, okay, I'm just going to start taking Neville into his office. And if you remember, Gleason, very special ways of chewing people's ass and things like that. But Neville lost his shit in his office one day. Like I was standing off kind of behind him because I don't want people to see me laughing when Gleason's getting in their ass. Neville just plopped down on the floor and he's like, I can't take it anymore. And he starts doing this shit. And I'm like, what the? Well, actually, he did it right as I brought him out of the hallway there. So, Christian, you're probably on duty. I'm just kidding, no. But down right there by the duty desk, and he just flopped down on the floor. I can't take it. And I look over and he's got a razor blade. And he's like,
Oh,
I think he had the blade backwards. He wasn't even cutting his wrist or something like that. And I kicked it out of his fucking hand. And this dude, he was not little. He was like big giant corn-fed country boy, right? And I'm like yelling at him like, Neville, get your composure. Suck it up. What the fuck are you doing? I was like this. And then I went and got Gleason. He came out there and he was just crying on the floor. And that was kind of the end of the Neville era. Did anybody else witness that whole scene?
Okay. So I remember not that scene, but I remember Neville and he was the victim to this too, was the release valve on the way to Subway over by the battalion aid station, that thing that everybody hit their head on. So I remember Neville was coming back from Subway, boom, hits his head, doesn't realize it, takes 3 steps into the duty area and passes out right there. Nobody can carry him. We're like, oh my God, he's bleeding. He's got to go. I remember, but I know Vic fell victim to that valve as well. And then Neville, we're on the parade deck, like 45-degree angle facing up the hill. And Neville eats shit like he always does. Slap him in the face. Gleason goes and says, sit on the curb. And then Gleason goes back, turns around and goes, God damn it. And Neville is laying he passed out just sitting on the curb. So Neville is passed out for a 3rd time. And
But that was Litbeck.
No,
probably passed out with Litbeck.
Wow.
Shauna Crutcher for a while.
Yeah, they all
Shauna Crutcher, Julie Ball used to pass out all the time.
Oh,
Meyer, yeah.
Vic, remember you and I took our very first gigs ever. I drum majored UE Seed. What's his name? Streeter and freaking Helms and all them are just watching us. and the kid in the very first platoon, the first guide, was morbidly obese, and he should have been out there because it was an NCO parade. And there's a video of it somewhere of our first gig. But as we're watching this, I'm like, what's going on? And the entire time we were out there, Streeter and freaking Helms are saying, that kid is fat, First Sergeant. You need to get him out of there. He can't do the pass and review. And no shit, when they came up to do the very first left turn, they pulled that kid off and shoot his ass while we were doing our first gig. Because
Nice.
Streeter convinced him that he was too fat to be there.
I don't even remember that.
I still found pictures somewhere of us of the whole like show band, party band, whatever, standing in front of the Crow up at the General's building there, whatever the hell that structure was.
Yeah.
So there's so many things that I mean, like Adrian said, they all just run together. And then seeing you guys, it's like, man, as soon as somebody came on, I remember exactly what I was doing, where I was, what the heck was going on for almost anything. But
Yeah, like
hard to believe
September
it.
11th. We
Yep.
just got off a plane. One of the other American Airlines flew out of the same airport, damn near. We were just there. We land. We're getting home at what, 2, 3 in the morning. Wake up, turn on the news. The first plane hit, and we're like, "What the hell?" And then Beeman calls me on the phone. "Are you watching the news?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then the second one hit, and it's like, "Shit, gotta go." But you
Yep.
remember these
We,
things.
if you also remember, we were leaving Colorado, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Something
were up at Estes
happened.
Park.
Yeah, something happened, and that plane almost didn't leave.
Right. There was a breakdown, and there was a connecting flight. Right.
Something.
Or
I
something to
just
that
remember
effect.
that we
And then
shouldn't
those
have been on
planes-
this for whatever reason. We shouldn't have made that flight.
Right. We could have been on that flight. Is what I was saying. It was
Hey.
that close. We were in the same airport,
Even-
same airport they came out of.
Even earlier than that, early that day, I remember being up in the top of Pikes Peak. I was freezing, and a few of us didn't have jackets on. We all get out there to this edge, and Mark Leeson starts talking about something about, hey, someday our country's going to need us, and remember this time. Do y'all remember that?
We did that a lot. A lot of our trips, we had those
Speech up there,
talks.
but I
Every time
remember
we
that one in
drank.
particular.
Burbank, California, Hollywood Bowl. That's going to be my best story.
I'm
Wait a
pretty
minute.
sure that's the same Estes Park gig where the bus driver was telling us about all the goats and it's only gay if you push back or something like that.
Yeah, why do you
Adrian,
take a
wasn't
goat? Why do you
Hollywood
take
Bowl
a
New
goat
Orleans?
to the edge of a cliff?
Yeah, that's it.
But then he backs it. That's with Dick Skinner, the drum major.
Holy
We talked
shit.
about-
And on that note, I got to roll. Wow.
No,
A lot
I'll
of
send you any
stories I
warnings.
missed, obviously.
Wait. Before you go,
Tunes of
who
glory.
remembers Paulie punching himself?
Yeah, we
Uh,
talked
Yeah,
about
throw,
that.
threw his
Talk
glasses
about that?
across
Okay.
Yeah.
the grinder. Listen,
I remember
Tunes of
someone
Glory
running-
tattoo.
I remember someone running over the drum set with the truck.
Oh yeah, that was gonna be my
That's
story.
rough.
Don't leave, Dan. Because
Was
I
that-
remember we were packing up to go up to the CG's house, and I took that
And-
was it the kit that folded
Hip
into
gig.
itself or whatever?
The
I
hip
set it
gig.
out
It was
there
a-
behind the van.
No. Hold on. It was a brand new pub set for combo drums.
Yeah.
And it actually had never been on a gig yet. And
It was
was
getting
I don't
ready
even
to
think it
go
was on the CMR yet.
Was
Was
it
it-
Brad or was it Heindel that ran it over with with a van?
Johnny Russ did.
Joe,
It was
Russ-
with
the truck,
Russ
with the
ran it
truck.
over.
With the truck.
Only going 55.
Some shit still ain't funny.
Back over. No, it was a blessing in disguise because the one you bought, that maroon one, that was a piece of shit. But the white one we got to replace it, man, that thing was badass. I use that all the time. So thank you, John, for getting us some new equipment.
Glass half full.
Tunes of
Glass
Glory
half full.
tattoo. The very end, we're in Vancouver. Stayed up all effing night playing shuffleboard. I know Adrian was that we still all night.
Yeah.
We didn't go to
Yep.
sleep. And then all
Yep.
of a sudden they're like, "Hey, let's go get on these 2 random boats and go in the river, and we can see dead salmon and freaking bears everywhere." And we go out and drink even more. Vic's got something going on with the host girlfriend or something on the bus. I forget what that whole shebang was. And
The
we
bald
got
eagles
to the
in the
very end.
trees. Yeah.
Very end, Baldy at the very end, and we're like throwing these grown dead salmon, picking them up out of the Vancouver River, throwing them around like because they're dead from spawning. And we hadn't slept in like 6 days. And Mangan's like, nobody take pictures of this because this is unsafe living conditions. We're all on freaking cots and shit in the army barracks.
Yeah. Remember, I drove the U-Haul with all of our band equipment from 29 Palms with
Yes, up
Peniston.
there.
Peniston.
Yes, Jeremy
Peniston.
Dude, he
Oh my
slept.
god.
He slept the entire drive there and back. He didn't drive one bit.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh. Man.
Hey
What a
guys,
nice
it was
day,
great. I got to bounce. It was great.
All
All right,
right.
Dan.
Great seeing you,
So,
Dan.
hey, yeah,
Lieutenant
Dwayne,
Dan, ice cream,
Lieutenant Dan.
ice
hey, I
cream.
wore that shit for 6 years, and honestly, Brad's probably got a good story about my post band career because he showed up at where I was at one time, and
I
it
did
was.
too.
I was
did too.
shaking my head. I was face palm. I go, yeah, you know what just happened out front? Yeah, that was one of my guys. But anyway, yeah, Dwayne, when you got to retire, man, you come up. We got to bring it all back together, and you do a country set.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
Right.
We better
All
get
right.
Keith Satonica on drums, though.
Oh dear God.
He almost.
Oh
came
my
to-
God.
He was close.
Satonica turned into, well, more of an absolute just whack job up here.
Is it Elisa Milano?
Did he
Better
retire?
It isn't
yet?
so.
He
He did.
Is
He
how about
retired because he refused the vaccine.
Car full of Mountain Dews.
Oh man, that's right.
Yeah, he retired. He was forced to retire because he refused the vaccine.
Mm.
At Paris Island, they came through for their little tour, and all of a sudden I see this random dude. I was like, no freaking way. I'm like, Keith. He's like, I fucking hate it. I'm done with this shit. And then that was it. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you loved to chop out, man. That's all you wanted to do was chop out.
He was, yeah.
Man.
Well, the problem is every time somebody retired, they replaced him with somebody better. So the section got really freaking good, and they relegated him to like pit percussion or
Yes.
operations or something, but basically pulled him off the line completely.
Yep.
But
I
he was
remember
such a conspiracy theorist. You know, every time I talked to him, was like, dude, I can't listen to this shit.
Yep.
So was Beeman. I
Was
did
he?
a couple of bands with Beeman. He always was in tune with something crazy going on, and I don't think he became a doomsday prepper, but he was definitely one of those.
He's a
Probably would
prepper,
have
yeah.
if he could have.
Well, hey, Carl, you hadn't said much, man. Come on, let's hear some of your
He's
story.
He's been driving this whole time.
Yeah,
We were on his
Well, I
commute
made
with
it.
him.
I made it to my kid's school, so I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting for me.
Driving to 29 Palms.
I mean,
they had been
okay,
like this.
first of all, I got a question. I got a memory that I can't remember that well. I know we were in Indiana. Did we play paintball at a bed and breakfast outside, or at least captured a flag and got all camo gear and had this really nice bed and breakfast? No, maybe.
Yeah, I can. So
Well-
what happened? What had happened is I guess they couldn't get enough rooms in a hotel for all of us, so they split the band up
Right.
between
Mm.
hotel rooms and B&Bs. And then
Yes.
like the all the Marines that were at their bed and breakfast was like, well, fuck it, let's go outside and play capture the flag. So they all
So it
got their
was.
candy. They're all crawling around in the mud and shit. Oh my gosh, it was awful.
Yeah, it was like a
Yeah, it
high
was the-
pollutant place. It was a pretty fun experience. I wasn't a real wild child, but I remember my first drink. We were actually in Cleveland at one of the police tattoos at the Indians, doing the national anthem for the Indians, and we played that. And some of us stayed, and some of us didn't. And the ones that stayed, we got drunk with the police. And I remember marching back to the hotel, and one of the police officers was like just taking a leak in the mailbox while we were doing push-ups in our dress blues on the sidewalk. So
Those police at those
Cleveland.
Cleveland places were nuts, man. Jason Booth and I, during that same trip, we decided to walk around Cleveland and got freaked out and came back because of that, like the zombiness of downtown Cleveland. It was terrifying. We're on our way back to this hotel and we're about to walk in, and then all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, a big ass watermelon comes up, plops, and cracks right next to us. What the hell? We're looking, are you okay? Yeah, we look up and there's three more coming. These cops up there were fucking chucking watermelons at us from up there.
Dude.
Adrian, that was the same gig that you, me, Mark Gleason, and about 20 other people got stuck in the elevator.
Yep. It was overloaded and it got stuck between floors.
Yeah.
And me and Mark were just putting up and having a ball. And then I was taking everybody's drinks and drinking them because they were getting all pissed off. And I actually made it all the way up the ladder. When the fire department got there, I was like, I'll just stay here. Y'all go ahead and get off. I'm fucking drinking. I get to the top of the ladder. I still have my cup of beer. And the fireman is like, put the beer down. And I'm like, dude, I got like one step left. He's like, put the beer down. I was like, I was chugging it, trying to. Then I stepped off and picked it up. I said, fuck you. No, yeah. I got a lot of Cleveland stories. I'm not going down that road.
Yeah,
I
I
was
remember,
like-
we opened the
That was
interior
the gig,
doors.
right? And so that was the gig when we came back and Gary was pulled off the bus.
Oh,
Was
when
that
he
the
got
gig?
arrested?
Not
Yeah.
pulled off the bus. He was like fucking as soon as the
He was on a
fin came down
C-130.
on the C-130, the police
Yeah,
were
but it
there.
was that gig because I remember we landed in Cleveland and we had like police escorts, right? Like, oh, this is awesome. So on our way back,
And the
Police
com-
we
bus,
land
first
and the
bus.
MPs are there, like, all right, we got police escorts again. But it wasn't for us. That's for one person only.
Dude, Gary
I still
Robinson.
remember
Yeah.
those parties after Estes Park, where we'd go
Yeah.
home, change, and then everybody's like, "Get the drum line together," and we're shit can drunk trying to play some drum solo we
Those were
wrote.
horrible. I can't
Dude.
believe everyone cheered for it, even if they were drunk. They were horrible. And
But then, dude, there's a picture of Andrew, you and I up there playing. They got all kinds of Celtic shit, and you and I think Vic's probably up there too. We're just all banging on random shit, and like I still can't remember what we were doing. I see pictures, and I'm like, oh my god, is that what we did?
So that
Those parties-
band that we were playing with was called Wicked Tinker.
That's it. Yep.
Yep. And I met them like several years later, like 10 years later. I went to a Scottish festival and they're there and I'm like, holy cow, it's Wicked Tinker. And I go up to them, like,
Wow.
hey, I was with that, you had us all doing like push-ups in front of the stand, right?
Mhm.
And they're like, oh my God, that was you. And then immediately they stopped their gig to tell the story to the like 1,000 people that were listening to them. This guy was one of those guys. And I'm like, no, it's not that cool because like Andrew Cox ruined his trousers and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, I don't remember that either.
Speaking of that, remember, Adrian, you said it before. That's when it had snowed. It snowed like a foot, and within 4 hours it had melted.
Yeah.
And that's the same day that I think the naval gun run dude took a elk by the horns and thought he could freaking wrestle the bitch.
Yeah.
But we get to the arena and we're like, there's no way we're gonna wear white trousers. There's no way this is gonna happen. And fucking Gleason comes back. You can barely see his ankles. His shoes are so full of mud. He goes, "We'll pay for the dry cleaning. Just put your white trousers on." And we had to
Dude.
wear blue trousers for the beginning, and then our show, the white trousers. I'm fairly certain I still have a pair of those that still have mud stains on them. That I
Probably.
wore years
They were
later.
supposed to be organizational property, but that was like one of the only times they were ever brought out. But Tim
Yep.
Smith fought, or Gleason and them fought forever to get us those trousers. He's like, we're fucking wearing them. And there was hardly any crowd left because it was raining so much.
Yep.
They were all huddled up. Dude, that mud just elevated the band. It didn't make us sound better. It made us sound
Somebody lost
louder.
a shoe.
We were like
One of the
marching
drummers, I
above
don't
the
know who it
ground.
was.
It was so awesome, dude. Everybody was so pumped. The audience lost their shit. It was, yeah, that was a crazy moment.
How about the gigs with
Lost their
TJ
shoe and all
Smith?
kinds of shit.
Hey, just in case you don't know, I did put that last TJ Smith concert we did in Palm Springs. That's up on YouTube.
Oh, no
So
kidding.
it's like 7 or 8 parts over there, but it's all
Yep.
there. So if you look up Metaxi Band, or something, 29 Palms, I think that whole thing's up there. I know Vic and probably remembers where we went to go slap the
The slap
slap and a big chubby comes flying off and hits somebody in the back of the head. And yeah, but it's all there.
Oh
That
yeah,
whole
it was a
show's on
trumpet player. I think they somebody busted their lip when it hit him in the back of the head.
Oh God, I hope not. It was awful, but it's all on there if you want to go check it out. We sounded pretty good.
That's when we played Blue Shades for a Christmas concert.
Oh,
That was
Lord.
a fun tune.
Dude, I have those recordings, man, on audio. All those concerts we did and stuff. So, Rock Band at fucking Family Day with Chris doing the national anthem, Jimi Hendrix.
Yep.
I have all those.
Ray,
I
do you
remember-
still have that like minute and a half recording of Frank's like spliaz that he had?
Frank's favorites.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paulie.
I don't-
I remember a few gigs with Mangan where there was not good communication with how the song was going to end and all that. And like there
Oh,
was
God.
supposed to be a solo and there was just like silence. and I just been and Mangum was just standing there trying not to crack up. And
Like he's like, "Oh, I need a mint."
I was like, yeah, for a
I
minute there, the
remember. I
man
know.
was chaotic.
Yeah, if Dave Anderson was still here, I mean, I'm still on the chat here. He'd vouch for this, but I told this. I actually just up at Andy's ceremony. We were in Yucca Valley playing in one of them band in a box trailers. You know, you pull the trailer in, you pull the feet out and shit. It's a tin can, and we got this old analog Mackie. I'm doing sound, and Mangan comes over and he's like, "Oh, it sounds like it's in a tin can." I'm like, "Well, this is really the best I can do, sir. I'm gonna try to roll the mid." And he starts fucking jamming the buttons, man. He's like faders up and gain and all that shit, just and it's going. Boo! I said, "Oh, I guess you're fucking running sound then." I walked away. Anderson's like,
Man, I do remember that.
I was being myself, and Dave's like, "Don't worry, sir, I got it." Come here. And I walk about 5 feet away. This was the ash chewing. It was, "Hey, put your hands behind your back. Okay, put your head down and shake it up and down. Okay, keep doing that." That was the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life, dude. You're a corporal, and you just told the band officer that he's running sound and he's a piece of shit. Dude, all right, stop. Look at me in the face. And he's pointing at me like this, and he's like, shake your head up and down. Dude, I can't believe you said that, man. That's one of the coolest effing things I've ever heard. He's like, "All right, now go back there and fix it because it really just sounds like shit now." And I'm like, "No problem, Master." And then I'd go back and my God, he freaking saved my life, dude. I'm sure there's plenty of times where I probably shouldn't have been where I finished. So thank you,
That's all of
everybody.
us. That's
Yeah,
all
I
of
think we're
us.
all in the same boat, man.
You guys, I gotta bow out. My son just got here, but it's been a pleasure.
All right.
Hey, Carl,
Great
I'll
seeing you,
never
man.
forget. We get to the first tee. The freaking
Oh, I
Desert
remember.
Ruins Golf Course.
I remember
First
this.
tee. Carl's like, "Hey guys, I got a new driver," and we're like, "Oh sweet, let me see."
No,
And he pulls out a
Brad, it
freaking
was my first
softball
time
bat.
playing golf. It was my first time playing golf, and I rented
bat.
a set of clubs, and the driver broke.
And he freaking brings a baseball bat out, and he's teeing off with a baseball bat the whole freaking
It's
time.
because
We're like,
I broke the driver on the first rental set I ever used when I played in a scramble with them, thinking I could hit, and I hit 2 feet behind the ball, and the head snapped off.
"Yep."
Yeah, and that's where General Weber chipped the ball over the no chipping sign on the base newspaper. And he said, "This is my base. I'll do what I want." Remember?
Dude,
Hey, ironically enough, General Weber's aide is my current CO at the barracks, battalion CO at the barracks.
oh
Wow.
no shit.
Small world.
Yep. Yeah.
Used to hang out
All
in
right,
the
guys.
E Club with us.
We'll see you later.
Take
Take
it
care,
easy.
Carl.
Oh, good seeing you
Yeah.
again.
You too.
Yeah, I knew Carl very brief. Like I knew the name, but then I was like checking out or something.
Yeah, when Weber was changing, he was outgoing. Like at 29 Palms, the gig was so fucking hot. It was in August. It was like 128 degrees in the shed or in shade, and they had a whole fucking platoon of standbys. So as people were passing out, they would replace them with the standbys, and at the end of the gig, the whole fucking platoon was gone. The whole platoon had been used for standbys. And he's still sitting chatting away and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, the whole fucking half the formation is falling out. Shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. Man.
Tell us how you really feel, Vic. Come on.
Yeah.
You've been holding on this for 20. Hey, whoever
Hold on,
replaced him, the general was the commander of the Beirut barracks when it got bombed, I think. Something like that. He was a
Oh,
brigadier
kidding.
general at the time. Yeah.
Wow.
I think it was one of the generals. It was either the one who took over for Weber. It would have had to be.
It had to have been him.
We went through Major General Stanley, who
Yeah.
had the wife in a wheelchair, and Mike Franz did his
Major General.
Major General Stanley.
General Stanley, and then that was Weber, and then I forget the name of the guy. Man, I totally forget. But he was the captain at the barracks when it got bombed in Beirut. I know that he used to tell that.
Yeah.
But
Weber that
That's
never
wild.
wore a skivvy shirt and was credited for getting Shinerbach beer at the exchange.
Yep.
you remember when Joe Weber we're having an NCO PME in the base theater, and Joe Weber stands up. He's like, "Band, where are you at? Hoorah! You guys motivate us. You know, admin, where are you at? Hey, thanks for getting us paid. PMO, where are you at? You bunch of fucking Nazis. You sit outside the NCO club, and when they get in their car, you pull them over and give them a DUI. Knock that shit off." I'm like, whoa, yo, because as you progressively go through each section of headquarters battalion, everybody's getting more rowdy and rowdy and rowdy, and PMO's last, and he blew them up. Oh my goodness gracious! What a freaking time!
It was Lone Star beer, not Schaefer beer.
Lone
It was
Star.
Lone Star.
Lone
He
Star.
had the bottles put in the E Club, and he didn't like hanging out at the O Club because all those little ass kissers falling around. Their
Yeah.
nose
Yeah,
so
he had
far
Lone
up.
Star, but he also got Shinerbach. It was Lone Star and Shinerbach. Both
Yeah.
beers.
We always took the show band over there and jammed out.
Yeah.
He loved it. He'd
Yeah.
rather hang with
Crystal,
us.
Crystal, remember the combo we showed up to set up. I don't know if Vic was playing vibes at this point. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We show up, pitcher of beer with 4 cups and 4 cigars, a cigar cutter and a lighter, and we're like, General, I think probably either Chris is the only one that's like of age. It's like we're like 19 and 20. He's like, I don't give a shit. It's my house. Fucking drink. Well, we're not supposed to drink while we're on duty. He goes, I don't give a shit. Who's gonna NJP you? Me? Fucking that better be gone when you're done. So there we are, drinking a pitcher of beer, playing who knows what. And then Joe Weber
Horseshoes,
says, I want
Horseshoes
to
was the
play.
game.
I want to sing My Girl for my wife. His call, and he came in, snuck in the back entrance by where the show band set up, rehearses My Girl with him and his like 4 colonels, and we bust that thing out. Here he comes out with mess dress trousers, his cummerbund, and a half unbuttoned white T-shirt at his house, clapping on 1 and 3, boom, 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 and he turns around and goes, "I got sunshine." And the colonel's like, "Ooh," and the commandant's there, and they're yelling, "Joe, you fucking suck! Don't quit you better not quit your day job. This is terrible." And he was genuinely freaking impressing his wife, and everybody started heckling him and shit. Oh man, nobody does that crap anymore.
Dude, there's a lot of generals that did stuff like that, but not necessarily when I was in 29. But
Nobody puts motivation inside the bass drum anymore either.
That is
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nope.
yeah.
That went away.
Remember
That
when
went
Beeman
away.
comes up and he goes, "Hey, we need a little color in here," and you find the most ridiculous photo. Oh my goodness. Oh god.
That was with the bass drum with 2 peepholes. Remember that?
Yeah,
So
the front of it,
he comes up and looks
and
in the
then
other
freaking
peephole.
Beeman's like, fucking Vic's like, "Oh, Gunny, check it out. And he looks in, he goes, "Oh my god, where did you find that?"
I remember that. Oh shit! Yeah, okay. He also had the
That was
empty
right-
drum case. Always
It was
had
like-
one empty case for like souvenirs or whatever the band wanted
Yeah.
to bring back. And remember, I brought back that big ass fucking stone from Mardi Gras that Tim Smith dared me I wouldn't take off the top of that brick. I carried that son of a bitch all the way to the van, got it into that case,
Oh
and it
man.
became that stone right outside Gleason's office in the sand.
Oh man, good
Yeah.
time.
Appropriate.
All right, well, I want to thank you guys for joining and coming in. I'm going to wrap up this podcast. Don't go anywhere. We can stay and talk, but I'm going to put you guys all on mute again. I apologize. All right, for all the listeners out there, thank you for staying tuned in and listening to us and our stories and our shenanigans. Very much appreciated. To all the veterans out there, if you feel like you want to hurt yourself or hurt somebody else, dial 988, press option 1. That's going to put you in contact with somebody at the VA that can help you out. You can also go to veteranscrisisline.net. They have a chat icon. You can get on there. You can chat with somebody. They're going to answer it. It's all anonymous. You just say whatever you feel comfortable talking about. You can also text them at 838-255. Again, that's 838-255. All right. With that, thanks to everybody for coming and joining us. I truly appreciate it. And thank you for tuning in and listening. Stay motivated. Change your socks.